Unless the white man said it, we will not believe it. This is a black man coming up with all this information, because you can, prior to Steve Coakley, you had the David Icke that was, you see all this stuff on YouTube, and I still get black people coming to me about David Icke this, David Icke that. You see what he said about it? I said, yeah, that's cool, but we got Coakley. You know what I'm saying? We got Griff. I got my father right there. I don't need Icke. I mean, I can use him for a point of reference. I don't need Icke. It's like a black man coming to me, giving me, what's that white Egyptologist people want to use all the time?
What?
Yeah, and then you got Gerald Massey. White man, black man come to me about Gerald Massey. I'm like, we got Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, my father, Dr. York. We got all these black African lectures about Kemet, and you giving me Gerald Massey? You love white people, don't you? Yeah, okay. But the main thing about Coakley was that his lectures were very extensive and very thought. He was a master, not just a master teacher, but a master researcher. You want where found, he gave the paperwork. He had people working for him that would just go in different rooms and buildings and take them. Because the thing is, he cared about our liberation. He cared about us actually getting the truth. It wasn't about, well, let me just write this book and so I can make this money. Because you can I can write a bunch of books and then not name nothing, because in our minds we see black people as very gullible and ignorant. But if you care and see our people as gods, to know that all we got to do is be taught what to do and we'll do it, that's all we have to do. So that's all it came down to. So we give honor to those who stood for truth in the truest form. Next slide. And I want to give reference to Griff, because I started watching and listening to Griff around 2012. He was on Tariq Nasheed's, one of his podcasts, and he was just dropping it. I mean, he was just so serious. I mean, it was like, you felt like he was just jabbing you in your chest. Just jabbing. It was just so much information at one time. And the fact that he during the time when the book Secrets Between Blacks and Jews came out, he was being persecuted by the Jews, hip-hop industry, other rappers, asking him, why are you putting this information out for? And then what happened? Next thing you know, he gets put out the group. You get put out of the group for putting the truth out. So what was the point of the group? What was the point of Public Enemy if I get put out by the leader of the group for putting out the information? What was the point of the group? Doesn't make any sense. So the fact that he sacrificed money, because after he's being put out, he's going back to just lecturing and researching. There's multiple pieces of Griff where it's like books and books and stacks of information that he compiled on who's controlling the industry and what kind of frequency that they want our people resonating on. And just looking at the fact that anything that he's saying is like so much truth that it stimulates the people that's listening to this. It's stimulating. This is not a game. And so that's what it came down to. So when I saw, the fact there's like 3 people that I can remember in terms of our people talking about this. There's people stints here, stints there. Because a lot of people will pick this information because it draws attention. But then they won't stay and continue to do research, because then it will make you paranoid, because you're naming names. Again, name the names. Don't just say a word and we don't know who to look for. You understand? Because again, anybody can name a name, exactly who are you looking for, exactly who did what. And when we don't know exactly who did what, what's the point? We're just wasting time. Next slide. And I pushed in this Ashkenazi Jew, the Khazars, because I wanted to make a distinction, because again, when you say the word Jew, that encompasses a lot of things. It encompasses a religion, it encompasses reality, a group of people who call themselves Jews. So I wanted people to get that information out, so that, again, since New York is bought and sold by Jews, you have a group that basically was converted by people of Babylon. They came into Europe when they was between the Caspian and the Black Sea. Does anyone know what the name of that area was called at one point? Anyone remember? Anyone know? It was known as the Caucasoid Mountain. So it was whites or crackers who lived between the Caspian and the Black Sea. At one point also in Arabic called El Brust, that blacks knew not even to go into because the savages at that time lived in that area. They literally at one point had to build a wall. And I talked about this on my conference call this past Wednesday. They had to build a wall around the Caucasoid Mountains, the Africans, during the time of Kemet, to keep these crackers inside. 6,000 years ago. They knew in their mind they were animals. So they wanted to keep the animals inside of where they were. This wall was at least 30 feet wide. Make sure the people they were already animals to begin with. So they wanted to keep them inside. This is from earlier writings from Nation of Islam as well as Ansar law as well. There's documented evidence of this. Next slide.
Build a wall to
keep them in.
Keep them away from us.
Keep them away from us, from our people. Because it's like they're animals. They don't have their nature is animalistic. We knew the thing is we dealt with things as Africans based on nature, not based on morals and or maybe some of them are good, maybe some of them are bad. At one point they're going to accept us. No, we didn't deal with acceptance or integration. I mean, we integrated at one point in Kemet when the new kingdom came in, but we dealt with them from a nature standpoint, not with hopefully they're going to treat us good one day. You know how we are now. And the Sephardim, known as the Sephardic Orientals, they make up 10% of the Jews because the Ashkenazis make up 80%. So you deal with mostly Europeans, but these are still Europeans that end up once they were pushed out. Once the Ashkenazims and the Sephardims were pushed out of Europe, these had to migrate into Spain and into parts of North Africa and into parts of Turkey. So they was a small amount, and some of them ended up becoming a little less blonde-haired, blue-eyed, so they started mixing in with a little portion of the North Africans, okay? And a cracker that you know as Christopher Columbus was a Sephardic Jew, all right? And he spoke Spanish, but he was known as a Sephardic Jew. The Sephardic Jews, period, made up most of the slave trade, and they benefited more than anybody else with slave trade. This is by documented evidence from white cracker rabbis, you know, Khazaric rabbis, proselytes. And what they'll do is, when you look up in the history books that they have created, because they are those that are over revision over what we learn, they'll give you who? They'll give you the Spaniards, they'll give you the British, they'll give you the Italians, right? They'll give you the Portuguese. The main name they'll throw out is the Portuguese tribe, right? But what a lot of people don't know is that, and next slide. What a lot of, and this is gives so much documented evidence as of what the Jews, specifically Ashkenazims and also Sephardic Jews, were doing to our people. When they would come in, and they weren't even like trading with those of Ghana and those of Senegal and those of Tanzania. They would just kidnap Africans. They would just come in with boats and just kidnap Africans. This is documented. And when the Nation of Islam put this information out, they wanted people to know who was doing the most. Because we have so much trust and so much of a connection to Jews. We work for Jews every single day. Even in the entertainment industry, the Jews are our God. You understand? In the rap world, rather than go independent, you want to get Jewish acceptance. To this day, rather than go independent, you would rather go to Sony where they manufacture most of the buck dancers that we have in our industry. Because if you want to say what you really want to say about the cracker, you have to go independent. So our people know that in order for us to get seen the most, I'm going to have to go to this Jew. I'm going to have to go and get a slave master. So when you look up, and I always recommend this book because it's just astonishing with the amount of money that they made from America, South America, Brazil, going into Jamaica. They had slave companies. Jews had slave companies that was in Brazil, that they were making millions of dollars. This is before any reparations that they received. You understand? So they were over the Dutch when they were going into South America and Brazil specifically. They were the ones that were dominating the slave trade. The Europeans say this. They dominated so much that they had to basically be put out of Europe over a period of time because they made so much money. And there was no trade. This was just kidnaps of Africans repeatedly, coming in with more weapons than we could even defend ourselves with, and just taking us and putting us in servitude. Next slide. That's why I went into Christopher Columbus, period, because again, I make sure that I wrote enough information that in case you wanted to summarize the notes, that you can go back, research this information, and you find out how much of a devil he really was. And again, every single day, or every single year, our people are being forced to celebrate the holiday of a beast man that came in and took our people to make money off of. And not just, going into our people, Native Americans that were also already here, some that was in South America, and put them to work in Europe. You understand? So we are taught to worship the devil every single day, every single year in our school systems. And so we look at, and we'll turn around and say, well, why not just have an indigenous day for our people on that same day? But then the reality is you have to get the permission of your oppressor to change anything. Think about that. As you say, well, I'm not a slave, but you go to his schools. Even when we go to black schools, that's in what we call the ghetto, all of the curriculum is still white supremacy, right? Where's the money coming from? White people. White people funding it, so therefore they can dictate what they revise, what they teach. They can continue to tell you how great Dr. King was. He had a dream, and that was it. We shot him, but we feel sorry, so we gave you a holiday. Deal with it. You understand? That's what they do. So we turn around and everything is forgiveness because they allow you to go to Woolworth. They allow you to, to sit-ins. Black folks love getting their behind work, don't we? We learned through slavery, right? To just get, just take the beatings well. Just, man, black folks it's like whites be like, wow, those blacks just love getting beaten. I mean, they're always up with signs and they come with the pickets and they're yelling and screaming. It's like, wow, y'all are just like repeats of the 60s. They know what we're going to do. So they know how to kill us. If you can predict your enemy's movements, you already won. You understand? So in our school systems, they already can predict our education of our people and our children at least 10 to 20 or 30 years. That's why, again, you have to create African-centered schools. And I give solutions in between slides. You have to at least support African-centered schools that, number one, though, does not receive any government grants from anybody. That means that you have to be able to be the ones to support and fund your own movements. Even in black organizations. Why would you bring your oppressor in your own organization? Does that make sense? I can understand that you have a business and whoever comes in, they buy whatever they want, but you have an African-centered movement with white people in it. What is that? I mean, just make it make sense. Make it make sense. This person in slavery made you work all day, all night, starved you out, beat you, raped your women, castrated your men. You go to the 60s, you know, we're gonna take it. That's who we are. We take it. We take it better than anybody else. Go to the same thing, right? Tell me if I'm wrong. You start a movement to fight against them, but you let them back in. You let them in the movement. They're letting you know who they are. Columbus let our indigenous people know who they are, because there's documented evidence of him going to who? Going to what we call Trinidad today, right? Trinidad, where there was African people that were already there. Our master teacher, Dr. Sullivan, talked about this, and when he went there with a couple of people, they got their butt whooped and they died, right? Then he goes back and asks for reinforcements, which is the what? The Nina, the Pisa, and the Santa Maria, right? So he comes in with reinforcements to almost exterminate the whole African people that were already in the islands, and then subsequently enslaved them. Whereas in the school system, well, we took you over there, and then we put you to work involuntarily, right? Because right now they're teaching, they're trying to find a way to eliminate the word slave out of the curriculum, so that your children coming up, if you still have children in the school system, can now see it as a voluntary, or either voluntary, because they'll say, well, your people sold you, so you kind of voluntarily put yourself in. Or involuntary, because, well, you were primitive at that point. So you deserved it. So you should thank us for putting you in the position that we put you in. Because if it wasn't for us, you would still be ignorant. You'd still be in those forests, having babies without any control. This is what they think. The thing is, what we learn is we learn what they give us, what they allow us after they filter the information, right? When we learn Kemet, we learn it from people who have got it from a filtered standpoint. That's what Egyptology is. It's a filtered amount of information. Because if they went past 6,000 years, they wouldn't be around. The only amount of evidence that they have of themselves of a Neanderthal dog-man beast is 6,000 years. Prior to that, you don't find it. So how is he going to give you your information pre-dynastically if he can't even find himself in that time period? But yet, we're relying on the Vatican to dictate what we learn about ourselves. Where there's nothing but pedophilia going on all day, all night. But you want to go after my father about something like that you still to this day cannot find any DNA evidence about. Yet, he's serving 135 years of his life in prison over something you can't find. Next slide. That's why, the main reason why, again, I wanted to give you, these are all quotes. These are not just, one of the main things in that book is that these are not just statements from the Nation of Islam. These are statements from white rabbis, white Jewish rabbis confessing to what they did to our people. Because the point is this, they can say, yeah, we did it, so what you gonna do about it? We gave you, again, we gave you a holiday. I'm giving you a job. I'm letting you live. That's the reality. I'm letting you walk my streets. I'm letting you go to and fro on my subways, on my buses, in my cabs. Because subconsciously I still own you. Because under white supremacy, I can always dictate in certain confines and corridors exactly where you go and where you can't go. I live in Houston, Texas. Muhammad Ali couldn't even get a house in parts of Houston, Texas. What's funny is a lot of people don't know is that back in 1966, when he beat Cleveland Williams, he tried to get a house in Houston, Texas, and they denied it, in River Oaks specifically. This is in the white flight era where they were using slave money to make the white middle class. Did anybody know about that? Yeah, exactly. But he went out of his way to try to find this a second house in Houston, Texas. He said, no, nigga, screw me. You a nigga for life. So the point is that we have to also study. We must study the ideology of our enemy. Study the ideology of our enemy. And this is not going to be in the slide, but I just want to give you a book to look up called The Turner Diaries.
What's it called?
The Turner Diaries. Right. The Turner Diaries is a very interesting book, and it's written from a fictional standpoint, right? Read the book, and it says this is a fictitious, fictional standpoint. And very key people in American history wrote this book, I wrote this book, but read this book as a manifesto for what they wanted to do to America. People, or black people specifically in America. You have Timothy McVeigh, you have the little cracker kids that was in Columbine kids, and they were sympathizers of Timothy McVeigh, okay? And they aimed specifically for black children at their school. And see, when you go online and you make these statements, whites are very protective because they're very codified in their movements. Codification means that it's certain things that when you see certain things, you act a certain way. With blacks, we have very inappropriate behavior when the time of subjugation begins. We either will hands up, don't shoot, we get our signs and we picket, or we find ways to say, oh, well, we're gonna let God handle that, that's Jesus, and we'll, what we do, right? Exactly. So when you say the Turner Diaries, it's basically what the neo-Nazis, the Klan, and white people in general study as a way to say, this is how we're going to take our America back. We're going to get rid of all of this, get rid of the gays, get rid of the blacks. Specifically the blacks in that book are the people that are physically exterminated by the whites in there. All right? That book is very important to read. That's why I say study the ideology of your enemy. Very important. The Turner Diaries. It actually is on eBay for like $20. It's very cheap. Yeah, look that up. Next slide. And I wanted to put this up because, again, first statement that needs to be made is they don't refer to themselves as the Illuminati. They don't refer to themselves as that. Okay? That the word itself just means light bearer or holders of the light. You know what I'm saying? The light symbolized Lucifer. Lucifer in the Bible, along with Jesus, is known as the bright morning star in the Bible. That's in Isaiah. You know what I'm saying? We interpret that as like a prophetic of Yahshua. But in reality, that was Lucifer. So the actual eye, which from Kemet is Harun. When he lost his eye in the battle with Setoch, his half-brother. But for them, and symbolize this is our means to make sure that we are the omnipresent over everything that goes on in society. Right? We can see everything. We control the religion, we control the money, we control the movements. So when you deal with the pyramid also is very symbolic because there's a place that they meet every 9 years. Every 9 years they meet within a pyramid. And within that pyramid, they discuss, it's like a round table, they discuss certain things that they decide, okay, this is what we're going to do here, this is what the Trilateral Commission decides. At least every 4 years when they decide, okay, who's going to be president this next time. Because now, blacks are now being conditioned and trained to go after who now? Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, right? right? And it's funny because that comes out of not knowing our history. Because when you don't know your history, or just history period, you're going to tend to repeat the same mistakes, right? See, remember, back in 1992, we voted for who? Bill Clinton, right? So Bill Clinton was a conservative Democrat, okay? And he was on Arsenio Hall and, doing the saxophone routine. I smoked a little weed when I was in, that's what we were saying, right? So we was giving excuses for voting for crackers. That's what we always do because subconsciously we still want to have a master. You understand? Why would you keep making an excuse to keep getting involved in this process? I look at it and I laugh my ass off. I look at that shit and laugh my ass off. I said, you do realize this shit is already decided, right? You realize it's already decided, right? Like, Barack Obama's 8 years already decided. We need to have this key Negro in this key position to subdue these blacks, to get them to think that at some point, wow, we got a black man in here, so he's gonna do some type of good for our people. Yes, Lord. That's what we think, right? Soon as you saw a nigga say, oh man, we finally got what we needed. And the next thing you know, you see over 1,100 black people died in 1 year in 2015, and it's like, where's Obama? Where's our Savior? Where's our Jesus? Where's he at? I know we got a little white in him, but it's okay. It's all right. He gonna do something, right? 8 years of buck dancing and cooning, right? You mad? Is all right? Buck dancing and cooning? I'm saying it again. 8 years of buck dancing and cooning that we had to deal with watching Obama play his game, because we know what we do. Blacks make excuses for it by like, man, I love Michelle Obama though. I love that black family. That black family in that house, right? See that house? You see that? You see that? They go, see, I think you waved at me. I think she did too. That's.
She the prettiest first lady we ever had.
Yeah, right? That shit was ugly crackers. But she was so pretty. Look at them. See, now they making music videos with Stephon Curry and his wife. They so down. Right? Ain't that what we say? The cracker knows